say, unless you have a policy, 600 hours max, after that you lose it or you lose it. But if they earned it, it's in the books, you're required by law to pay them.
Yes, and when I first came, one of the audit comments that they had was that it had to be on their paycheck, because at one point in time, poor Margaret was inundated with, how many days do I have? Do I have this kind of data? So it actually appears on their paycheck of how many hours that they have, even how much sick time they have. But that is benefit time, and you can play around with sick time and not necessarily vacation time.
Mr. Neeson, what that paragraph says is that they have to take those 600 hours, bring it down up to 80. They can keep 80 there, and then from there, they keep on rolling 80 hours.
So they gotta take 520 hours?
Yes.
It was a suggestion. We were,
Yeah, I
We're
can see
trying-
them,
we're
they
trying to
have
figure
to
out
lower
here.
it by 80 hours, but not taking 520 hours. No, they lower it by 80, make it 520, then they can start earning vacation. But to take them from 6 down to 80 hours, and then they can earn another 520 hours to do it?
we don't
No,
need anybody else
that's a
to do that.
suggestion.
So it's, I don't have the answer. I just said if there is an issue, we're going to make sure that we have those things. Are there any other personnel things, like at the time, vacation, or those other kind of suggestions that we can look at in the handbook?
I would just take it slowly, take, like I said, take the 4 weeks mandatory,
Yes.
I mean, the 20 days, and then if they can, take 10 more
Yes.
days.
And you can put in the
I
handbook.
mean, not at the same time, but 10 more
Yes,
days.
and
Just
so
so
you
we
can put in the handbook something like you're saying, to say that, because usually we renew the handbook every 2 years, to say by the year 2020 is a nice year, we can think about that, this, after this date, 2020, you've had it, as I think Councilman Jimenez said, that it's kind of like, let the employees know, this is it, we have to address this, and so by the year 2020, we need to be able to effectively do that.
Well, also be thinking about, because the ones that have accumulated so many hours, what are you going to do with them before we start the new budget in 2018?
They already earned it, you can't do anything about it.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can decide to say, okay,
You can't get no more after that point.
You can say, everybody, reset it and pay them out all those hours, and they can go invest it if they want to, and we don't really be hurt, because I couldn't do that.
So, or we could have them cap it at the 900, and they have to take anything over that.
So the
No,
council has,
then everybody's gonna cap it at 900.
Just for the people over 600 hours, till they get it down. So if you have the,
but what are you gonna do about the anniversary? Because somebody who already has 900 hours is gonna get another 20 days on their anniversary day.
then you gotta take it.
They
So
gotta,
he's gonna take the 20, and then he can hold on to his 900 until he's ready to go.
Right.
So the council has a lot to think about
Yes,
before
ma'am.
between
And
now
so
and
that's why I gave everybody the information in the report so that you have it.
And these funds for half a year, what we were suggesting is that instead of giving people 20 days on vacation, reduce it up to 12 days, so that way we don't contribute for them to keep on adding or increasing their vacation time.
I look forward to your recommendations, I really do. It's like King Solomon, we gotta figure out how to split that baby. If we move on to the holidays, is that okay? I spoke about that, and so if you look at the 2019 holiday, and the second page, the 2018 holiday. So the city council has already approved the Peanut Festival for this year, the 2018 holiday.
hold on, Ms. Turner, where are you
So
from?
the next, it says 20, I highlighted the
Fourth
top.
of Acts?
Ma'am, it's on these.
Yes, you go through all those little, that whole report.
Okay.
So the highlighted one is what we're talking about for this.
The holidays?
Yes, ma'am. So this year, we already have approved, you all have already approved that October 11th, the Peanut Festival, and October 12th, Peanut Festival. Those are already holidays approved, that's done. What we're speaking to is the 2019 year. I just highlighted those 2 days. My recommendation is that we eliminate October 10th. We can let the Peanut Festival people know that the carnival can't block that street. I believe Councilman Kenton, you said something about a half day or something on Friday.
It's up to the council, what do they want?
It's just a discussion. So we just need to know, because in the CBA, and the attorney is finalizing the CBA, they have all these holidays in here. because they normally get those. And so if we use a holiday, if I use a holiday, they use a holiday as well. So a holiday, just to remind everybody, a holiday means that you get double pay. Not time and a half, you get double pay on a holiday. And so Peanut Festival becomes no different than New Year's Day or Christmas Day. And so that is a very weighted holiday. And so these are the holidays that we have typically celebrated. Staff has made a suggestion, so I look forward to hearing your comments. And if you want to keep both days next year, eliminate one, or just do a half a day. And we can bring that back when we talk about the handbook if you like.
Typically, the reason we would shut down those days because they would put the carnival right in front of the
Yes, they will close off that street in front of City Hall. Yes.
That would mean if we do go with those, that we would have to work with the Peanut Festival to make those adjustments. So that's the question.
to have access to the city.
Very good thing for people to take a vacation day.
Yes.
No, well,
But if you technically close City Hall, that's a holiday.
If you close City Hall, it is a holiday. For example, and it happens, if we try to plan and pre-plan, get the garbage cans out there, the barricades out there ahead of time, but typically there's always something that somebody forgot or something happened and our guys are called, the on-call crew is called out on that day. Then they're paying double time. So an employee that's making $15 dollars an hour, that Peanut Festival time, that many hours they're out, and it's a minimum of 2 hours when you call out, they're making $30 an hour for that time. And so all I'm saying is that I know they can close a portion of it. It's really inconvenient, but if we can find some way to cut, that's all I'm suggesting.
Can we talk to the Peanut Festival Association before we make a final decision to see if they would even be,
Yes, ma'am?
I mean, it's our choice.
It's your choice.
It's our choice, but.
Wait, the question, they get 15 days plus 2 personal days?
We get 10 sick days and 2 personal days.
So, but you also get 15 days holidays off, paid holidays off. Plus they have the 2 personal days
And 10 sick days.
and 10 sick days, so. Oh. Okay,
42 days.
yeah. What happened to 11 days of federal government holiday to match the 11 days? Was this something extra the council voted on to get extra days off?
This predates me,
Okay.
but they've always had Peanut Festival as a holiday for some time. I could say at least a decade. Is that close, Monica, to say it's been a holiday for at least a decade? 10 years?
yes,
Yes,
It's a bit longer
yeah,
than
it's
that.
not longer than
but
that.
we have, I think what he's saying is,
But I thought it was only Friday, I didn't know it was Thursday.
It's Thursday and Friday. I think at the beginning, I think it was just Friday, and then it creeped up to be Thursday and Friday.
How much would the city say for the day?
It's just the overtime, because as I said, I have to pay one way or the other, just the overtime. And so we did some quick numbers, and we came up somewhere between $8,000 to $10,000 for each day, we would say.
16,000 for 2 days.
Yes.
It's a lot of money when you don't have it.
I agree.
Okay, so council, you know your role, your
Well,
homework, per se?
but I think like Thursday night, that's when, I mean, the only day that I think it would affect would be Friday, right? Because that's when, the carnival starts Thursday now.
They
That's
have
when
the
they do
Goober
their-
Games. I'm not a peanut
On
festival,
Tuesday?
but they have the
Tuesday.
Goober Games, and they start those a little bit earlier,
So,
and they close off the street. And if they close off the other side, and I just need to be able to get people in and out by the corner store or food
Yeah.
mart and be able to get people into our parking lot. But I'm just saying, this is a unique holiday that's unique to only the city of Floresville. And so you all need to be able to do some things and think about it. It's just a suggestion. I'm just looking for suggestions, and so that's what I was chosen to do. Okay? So I'm giving you the 2019 holidays and the 2018 holidays, just so that you can see. Okay? All right, so you move on to the expended hours to the new city hall, and yes, we're gonna get in there eventually. But what I'm hoping to do beginning October of 2018, is to add Saturday hours. Okay, so here's the story. I was at HEB and one lady said, "You work at City Hall?" Because I happen to have one of those wonderful City Hall shirts on. And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "You know, I have to take off a day every time I come to do business with you all because you close at 5 o'clock. I work in San Antonio. I can't get home in time unless I take a day off." So I thought, wow, that would be really something. What if we just have 1 day a month, 2 days a month that we stay open late, and then on Saturdays? And so what I would like to implement is to say 2 days a month. Now, the ladies have told me that they would like to have a late day. So like the 10th is the day that the bills are due. So we want to stay open late that day, but it's not always on the 10th. It depends, falls on a Sunday, there's a rule. So whatever that rule applies, that the day is the last day you can pay your bill without getting the penalty, that's the day we'll stay open to 7 o'clock. It'll just be the drive-through, okay? And so that's the day. The other day would be on Saturdays. And so it would be Saturdays, and that Saturday will be just the drive-through, and it'll work for like the garbage hours. So if we have a holiday on that weekend, it doesn't work, and we can post those. So some Saturdays will be closed, just like the garbage dump is closed, City Hall will be closed for those days. We're gonna work it so that it will either be hopefully comp time but no overtime, and we'll flex schedule so that we won't incur any overtime.
If that's true, you have to make it all voluntary. You can't force a person to take compound if they have an overtime rate.
I can do your schedule so that you don't have overtime.
Right, you do the schedule for you
Yes,
don't have overtime.
Yes, sir, we can. And that's our plan. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Turner, so is it gonna be, who's gonna be working? Is everybody gonna be working or just the ones that work in the office?
Just the ones that take money. It's just so that we can give people opportunity to collect money, to pay their bill. They can leave a note or something, they have to ask questions, but it's just mainly those who are taking the money.
So they would have to work every Saturday morning?
No, ma'am, they would rotate, not everybody would have to work. I only need one person.
You're only talking one Saturday a month?
I'm not doing the scheduling, but probably it'll work out to be one Saturday a month.
If it's successful, we may look into doing it more than that.
Yes, but we need to see, because I may think, oh yes, a lot of people who want to come pay their water bill on Saturday, and then everybody's going, I'm not paying water.
But on Saturday morning, right?
Saturday between 8 to 12, just like the dump opens from 8 to 12 on Saturday. We still will maintain our drop-off box that we have for reference to do that. You know, the little box where everybody does like they do at Phelps. We'll still maintain that. It's still in the same location. If it doesn't work and we don't have a lot of people and a poor girl sitting up there going, I had 2 customers for today, then we can actually eliminate it.
Is there gonna be a police officer somewhere around there or?
The police will be aware that we're open, but it's only drive-through, so nobody will be coming in. It's only the drive-through for the late hours. So I'm going to need to be able to do that.
Oh, it's right here in front of you.
Oh, not a problem, not a problem. Okay. The organizational chart we normally have to do at this point in time as we're doing our budgeting. And so again, the 2018, 2019, the new ones on top, the old ones on the bottom. And so the changes that I've made, if you look just to the right of the municipal court judge, that was a suggestion to have we're going to be eliminating one of the part-time employees to make it 2 clerks. That's what you all suggested, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then we'll make that amendment and that change to that one. The Public Works Director is currently vacant. I'm going to recommend that at least for the rest of this fiscal year and into the next fiscal year that remain vacant until we can check out and see how we're doing financially. But I don't want to remove it from the chart because we need to be able to, just in case I need to fulfill it.
Now, explain to me why we are doing away with the USDA project accountant.
Yes, so that position was not there. So originally, the reason why I named it to be the USDA project accountant is for the USDA projects. As I said in my budget letter, that we are going to be completing most of our USDA projects that are pretty big. Now, our budget is about 13 to 14 million. Okay, it's about 14 million. But we got this $10 million grant, loan grant, loan and grant on the $10 million, 7 and 3. And so when we got that, I figured we needed to have someone that can help us to make sure that we hit all of our bases and go through that. That project should be complete actually sometime in September of this year. And Mr. Heiner from Stantec will be here to report on the status of that at your next council meeting in August. And so that's done. Your water and sewer, that's a loan for $3.4 million, will be complete actually this year. And we may be anticipating, that's on your next agenda, another $2 million to do the water if you all decide to go forward. But that position was always a temporary position, so when the USDA ran out, that project should be done. And so that's why I am suggesting that we eliminate that position.
Can you eliminate that person or the position?
The position. We don't speak people in budget meetings, it's positions that we talk about.
So what would be the relocation to that position?
I don't have one at this time.
So according to the organizational chart, there's 2 part-time in the Parks Department that they're suggesting that we don't fill.
Correct. Those 2 positions I've filled and they've left, and I've filled and they've left and they've filled. And so we have opted to not to try to fill a part-time position. If we were going to have some more assistance with parks, I'd rather just add another full-time position because the part-time just didn't work. We tried it, it just didn't work.
Ms. Turner, I would suggest that we hire a full-time position for this back here, since we're getting $50,000 from the 4A for the park. I mean, we're not gonna pay that much, but
You can do 2 positions.
That's just the one time thing
What's the one-time thing, sir?
for the 50,000 from the.
EDC has committed, I believe, 2 years, at least 2.
Yeah, so
At least 2 is what they said.
and just to work there and keep it pretty.
If you would like to add that position, I mean, we talked about earlier in this year, we talked about one of those part-time positions, helping out here at the event center because Chad is a one-man show and a janitor. We talked about that, but we all opted to wait until budget time to move forward with that. So this is the time for us to be talking about if you want to add a person, and so we can see.
Is the EDC giving us money for the park, just for the park, right? For maintenance? They're not giving us money for an employee for here.
Correct.
Okay, so we need an employee just for the park, just for that.
well, you gotta have a lot of expense just for that $50,000.
No, we're not gonna use the whole $50,000.
What are you gonna do, give it back to them?
No, we can use it for something else.
You gotta use it
It's
for
for the
park.
park, it's for the park.
But I'm saying you got more expenses, you got
Yeah, maybe we need
fertilizer, we have to
a
buy.
lawnmower, or,
And
yeah,
lawnmower.
exactly. You
Can
know,
we make a deal with the baseball people or football people?
no, we're not gonna
to
make
buy
any
their
deals.
lawnmower?
We're just
You're
gonna
not
hire,
finished?
we're gonna hire a person.
One councilman at a time, and Mr. Neeson had asked.
She has the floor.
Ms. Turner, write that down. We're gonna hire a person for that. We're gonna use part of the money to hire a person just for the park, since the EDC is giving us the money. Or use part of the money for that.
That would actually be a council decision, but that's a recommendation.
Recommendation, and see how the board feels about it. The
Yes,
council
ma'am.
feels
I
about it.
did write that down.
Go ahead.
Okay, the
Okay, go ahead.
baseball team offered to sell us their lawnmower too, because they won't need it if we maintain it. So we'll have to buy that from them or give them credit for it or something.
We don't have to buy it from them. Why do we have to buy it from them?
We don't, they won't give it to us free. We gotta have something there to cut, we
We
don't have
can buy a
enough.
new one?
Theirs is pretty good.
Okay, well, we'll see.
But with the consideration that that employee depends on the FEDC, how long those funds will be coming in. True?
Yes, FADC did commit when they first made that statement to 2 years. I can't speak to EDC. However, I did attend their last meeting, and they were even speaking to, they're finishing their budget to increasing that $50 to do other things because they wanted to talk about how much the Little League would or would not pay and the football would or would not pay. Now, if you would like to ask them and to get more commitment from them, we do have them scheduled, I believe, August 2nd, to have EDC and representatives from their board to be here. And we can add that to the agenda on the night of EDC if you like.
Just a reminder that every time boards, FEDC board changes, that new board has the discretion to change those policies. So that is one of those issues that we rely on the FEDC, that we partnership with the FEDC and the FEDC help us out. That's our thing, that we're in a bind like usual, but we need their help and support.
Just a correction that FEDC is on the August 9th, August 7th. August 7th.
August 7th. So we can add that as an agenda item, is to have the discussion of the park.
Okay, I'm going to get to you guys, but I had something to add to it. I know that we're not going to fill, or it looks like we're not going to fill the 2 part-time in parks. Now, because of commitments and issues, my favorite subject, the cemetery, gets put on the back burner. We have a budget in there, and what is the possibility, council, of contracting someone to come in specifically just to take care of the cemetery? Because it gets put on the back burner. I understand why, but usually when we have a major holiday, it's the last one to get taken care of, and we do have the funds in that budget that we haven't been utilizing. I know we talked about doing the streets, and that's coming out of streets, I believe it is. So
Just speaks to the cemetery fund, correct?
the cemetery fund, yes.
But we already have people that go ahead and do the city. I mean, we're responsible for the city cemetery,
City employees.
the city
Right,
employees.
they are, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is, because we're not going to be filling those 2 part-time, and we don't have anybody from parks here, do we?
No, ma'am, they've already been here.
Okay, and so it's an idea that they would use their own equipment, and they would be responsible for taking care of it through us. It's an idea.
Okay, what I was gonna say is that once FEDC commits a certain amount of monies, you cannot take that back. That's one. What I was gonna say, another thing is that, I think it's a good thing for the first couple of years, so that way, hey, there's gonna be a lot of groundwork that needs to be done there at the city for maintenance for the first couple of years, and then after that, it gets easier. But,
And that's in regard to the park.
yes.
Councilman Ortiz?
May I say something? I agree with you, Madam Mayor, on that issue, but we have to get a good bid, because I can recall back a couple of years or so, those contractors were charging the city way too much for just go around certain spots and the cemetery and here and there, and if we're going to go that route, let it be a good bid that council can see who that individual or that kind of company is,
Right.
because last time they were way overcharging.
Right, and it's an option, we wouldn't have to use equipment,
Right.
we
The
wouldn't have
liabilities.
liabilities, anything like that, so it is an option, but it could go out to bids.
So-
It's an idea.
Okay, so if you contracted it out, so now the city's not gonna have nothing to do with the city cemetery. So
Which
the
one?
employees that we
Just
have.
for mowing, but you have
No, I understand, but if
trees
you're
and
gonna
trash.
contract it out, it's gonna be that they're gonna take care of it. So we're no longer gonna need city employees working that at all.
If the council so
Not
chooses.
if, it's gotta be either.
Right,
or.
what I'm saying, I cannot make the decision for the
No, I
council.
understand that, we
But
do
that's
that.
something that the council can think of as we go forward with it. If we could maybe even get an idea of how many hours they spend out there, with the wear and tear on the lawnmowers, the weed eaters, the blower, all that. you know, all that, but it might be a viable option if the council so chooses.
I just want to go ahead and let you know that the cemetery has 104,517 on the fund balance. But that, with a contract service to do the mowing of the cemetery, it will go pretty fast. So by the time, maybe even 5 years, you're not gonna have any money for anything else. Because these lots don't sell that quick.
Well, and it might be an option. We're looking at cutting back in the next couple of years to get that fund balance built up. It could be a case where, and these are all options, that we do it for a year or two, and when we get back on our feet, then we might be able to hire more in the Parks Department. But for now, so we can keep up with the park and all of our other entities around the city, it's an option. Councilman Nissen?
We would need to get a price, get a bid on it, because most of the time a contractor in landscaping could be cheaper than a city employee, or may not. And the other thing is, who's going to take over the role of the USDA?
Well, we've been activating the front office supervisor to continue on as we close out, because we're in the closeout mode for the sewer. So we'll be closing it out. The same thing will happen on the water as well.
But we always get USD projects, don't we?
Not always, but I'm hoping to do another $2 million.
So if we do that, I think you're over managing too many people. I believe we should have a public works director, because you're overseeing it. If you're going to be taking that role on with that type of money, overseeing the front office using USDA, you want to get $2 million. I just think you're going to be overloaded. I just believe you need to have another public works director, maybe not as talented as we had, but somebody to oversee to get that out. Because when you're coming in at 6:30 and you leave at 5 at night, when I say you leave, sometimes 4, sometimes 3, but a lot of times 5 and 9, you're putting in a lot more hours, 45 hours.
Well, that is why I left the position in the organizational chart. It is vacant. I just mentioned that, so we can fill it whenever you all care.
I would wait till next year, but I think we should fill it.
And I think we should keep the USDA.
That's just something, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councilman.
I agree with some council members, but at this time, the city has no funds. Where are we going to get 80,000? We're barely fighting here for here and there, you know, scraping fees on the swimming pools, cutting back on the PD, cutting back here and there. For the time being, if there's an emergency where council will come united and say, okay, there was a big disaster or so, or it's about to happen, or you know, something that needs to be addressed. But militaries have worked with skeleton crews, as y'all know that. So at this time, I believe we should continue with Henrietta overseeing the supervisors every morning, like she's been doing. Get all those orders out and just pray that everything will be.
I do have to say that the guys have really stepped up to the plate. It's not easy dealing with me and seeing me every day, hearing the boss lady every day. So I have to commend them for putting up with me. But it's just that we have to make some tweaks to the system. Now, can we do this for the next 5 years or 10 years? Oh, but no. But we need to get through that. However, I would have to say, definitely for the rest of this year, I would recommend, which is not long. I mean, October will be here for the and then you all look at it and reconsider it, because one of the things I did put in there is that we have a hiring freeze. And so if we go into the new year and a position is vacant, then it stays vacant until the council takes action to fill that position. And so at any point in time, if you all want to take action, if you decide to go this way next year, you can decide to say, we need to open it up and go ahead and hire.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you know, and there's this, you know, philosophy of saying that she has too much work. Since the beginning, she's had too much work. So is it an issue for you, ma'am?
Well, we're gonna be closing down some of the projects.
Right.
I told
So what-
somebody on what we were doing, they were like, we ripped off the Band-Aid, it's a whole lot to do at one time. And so
Yes.
a lot of our projects are coming to conclusion, but everybody works hard, not just me. I do work hard, but everybody works hard. I work my staff very hard.
There's